So this is a second try to making this video. Had a few friends asking me about the details about how I made my sauna, and so I'm going to share this, to go through a little bit. So yeah, I built this sauna a couple years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago during COVID, and it was an idea that I have. I was like checking online all the DIY websites and videos, and there was a video that I saw of a guy who made one kind of similar to this using uh, nicer wood. I don't know where he sourced the wood, but it was this cedar wood, and it looked fairly simple the way he did it. He just stacked boards, these cedar boards up, and I thought, man, I could do the same. And turns out I had a friend who lived in another community nearby where they were building a bunch of new houses, and he spoke Spanish, and the workers at the build sites mostly speak Spanish, and there was all these discarded 2x4s. So there were these long framing 2x4s that they were getting rid of, and most of them, they were kind of janky or bent, or there was some issue with them, so they were just there was a huge pile of these 2x4s. So we went around in my truck and talked to those guys, and they were like, just take them, and loaded up my truck with maybe 80 or 90, I don't know, I can't remember, mini 2x4s. And so I wanted to go with the same design that I saw on YouTube. And the way that the guy did it was, he had, I don't know, he had a nicer base board, kind of like treated wood, but during the build sites, at the dirt build sites, they also had some discarded treated wood. So the bottom, I put some concrete blocks at the bottom, and put a base of 2x4s, treated 2x4s, and then there's actually another two layers, another layer of 2x4s on top. But anyway, the way that video, the guy did it was, he got these kind of like a screw threaded rebars, and from each corner of the structure, and there's rebar in the edge of each corner, here, and I made a little jig to consistently build the holes, or drill holes in each of these 2x4 corners. And so I stacked them up, like a puzzle. Even though even if you drill it, it wasn't perfect, but once you little by little you do it, there are still cracks because the quality of the wood wasn't so good. But I'll probably I'll send a link to that video where the guy did it. And on top of that, made the base, then little by little, layer by layer, I added the 2x4s and made it up to maybe 7 feet here. So the dimensions here are like 5 feet by 4 feet by 7 feet. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 2x4 stacked. And after that, more 2x4s at the top. I made rimmed it, and then put more 2x4s on the roof to make the roof. And then I built, 2x4s to hold up the platforms here. Initially, I didn't have these 2x4s here, but what you want to do is minimize the volume in here so that the heater doesn't have to work as hard. And then also, because of there's a lot of cracks between the 2x4s, a lot of cool air will come in and prevent the heater from heating up quickly, right? So once that was done, I also put calking in between the layers from the outside to prevent air from coming in. Building this door was a little bit challenging. It's just a plyboard here, and then made a frame, and you got to just measure it really, really accurately so that the door closes snugly. And I put some insulation on the edge here Then initially I didn't have a roof, but you know, if it rains and whatever, it would the water would get in and then further cool down the sauna. So I put a plyboard up there and some shingles, and it's, you know, it's angled a little bit so that the water runs off. So yeah, so in addition to the those corner rebar, I also got this hardware. You know, as I was building, actually, I realized it was a little bit even within the layers, there's some pieces are not part of the corner. So you can see here, this section here, this is just a straight wood. So you know, these sections together, I used these bracket hardware and screwed each one in, and that, you know, made the whole place very sturdy, right? So this 2x4, this size, I mean, it's you know, very, very sturdy. And so once that was done, once the structure was done, I hired a electrician to bring a 200 volt wire, you know, power from the breaker, my breakers in the front of the house, all the way up in the front, on the wall down there. So he wired the 200 volt wire, and let's see here. And so the heater element here was something you can buy on Amazon. I think I paid like less than $200, and then maybe it was like $30 or $40 for the stones. You needed like sauna stones, and the for this volume, for 5 foot by 4 foot, 7 foot, you know, there's some calculations you can do based on the volume, how much wattage of a heater you need. But this one is a 4,500 watt heater, and right now there's just the you know, heat temperature gauge and a timer there, but there's a lockout position, which I usually use because the timer is usually only like an hour or something like that. So that's kind of an issue where, you know, the timer is too short, and then the lockout, you know, it's easy to you have to remember to turn it off, otherwise, you know, you're gonna really chew up your electric bill. So yeah, so once it was built, you know, maybe half a year after I built it, I stained it because I could see that the, you know, the sun and the rain was kind of like taking a toll on the wood. So I put the stain in. It seems like, you know, now it's been about 2.5 years and it's holding up pretty well, and protect the wood, and yeah, so I hope that this thing will last another 10 years. The other thing that I recently added was these aluminum foam like reflector shields. So these were insulations that I was using in the garage door, and this was like the leftover insulation. But once the heat, you know, accumulates in here, you're sitting up here, you know, 2 people can sit here. This seems to help hold the heat in and reflect some of the heat. And then I use this vodka bottle to, you know, pour water on it and steam this. It gets really steamy in here. I also added a you know, there's a electric wire coming from the wall here, and I have a little extension cord, and that powers the light. So I'm using an incandescent light here. Then I have a light out here too, and the latest addition is this cold plunge tub, and I also can use it for hot water. And then made this lid just about a month ago, and put some floor matting here as insulation in between. And so, you know, the temperature outside, you know, right now it's in the winter, so it gets February here, so it's like gets like 50 degrees. And go inside the sauna for 15-20 minutes, and then go in here, do that a couple times. The other thing that's that I do sometimes is with the hose here. I have this window here where right behind here I have the washing, you know, dryer and washer, and there's a hot water tap there. So I have like a, you know, Y adapter valve, and I can put the hose from here through the window, turn on the water, and I can, you know, heat the bathtub up. And so this idea here is that this lid is going to hold the heat in longer. And my next project I'm thinking about doing is maybe getting a cheap tankless heater, either a 240 volt one or a propane one, so that I can just continuously like heat the water. And yeah, so overall, you know, it took me maybe 3 or 4 weekends to build this thing. But yeah, I think it's you know, since the wood was, you know, the 2x4s were mainly free, you know, the plyboard for the door, the heater, the electrician, you know, the hardware for the corners, all these things, I would say, you know, the whole project was around $1,000, maybe less. And same with this tub here. I got it on Facebook Marketplace. I think somebody was selling it for $200. Whoever had it before, they had some like oils, essential oils or something, and so it got all stained. They didn't want it, but that doesn't bother me for using it out here. And yeah, it's a good. It's been a good investment. I use it, you know, 2 to 3 times a week. I think yeah, and the electric bill is not too bad either. You know, 4,500 watts, 240 volts, and I think the heater will, you know, heat up for like 10 minutes, shut off for 5 minutes, 10 minutes on. I don't know, but you know, I'd guess adds maybe $10 a month on my electric bill, maybe $15 a month. So yeah, yeah, not anybody can make it. Just a little patience in drilling the holes, and if you have access to cheap 2x4s, I think this is a great size because 2 people can sit here, right? And you know, you can talk, and it's plenty comfortable for 2 people. And then you can't quite lay down, but you can, you know, lay down with your knees bent, and yeah, it works out pretty well.